can be hard to understand sometimes. And honestly, I don't see any of this as some big, mean critique of Evrana's channel. If I saw these videos in a vacuum, I'd think that he just liked Pokemon cards and liked YouTube, that he's young, doing something he likes, engaging with his hobby. But here's the thing that makes Evrana interesting. The thing that led to a series of interactions that I've been tracking closely for at least a year now. Evrana isn't just doing this as a hobby. He wants to have a big channel. And whatever else you want to say about him or his work, he hasn't had good luck with that. So that's the subject of this video, Evrana and the culture that surrounds him. Like anybody who's really aware of Evrana, I started knowing about him through small YouTube-related subreddits. Although the earliest video you'll see from him is only 3 years old, he's been at this for much longer than that, 5.5 years. And on these forums, he'll frequently ask, why isn't my channel getting bigger? How can I see the results that I want? And in these dozens of online conversations, we can find the same thing happening over and over and over again. People come on and give him advice, and Evrana just tears it apart in this really striking way. The market you're working in, unboxing Pokemon, is already oversaturated and not the sort of thing that's likely to take off. But that's not true. Other channels are doing well with this sort of content. You should focus on quality more. Make the absolute best video you can. This doesn't apply to me. I already spend as much time as I need on my videos. Your channel has been dead for too long to be picked up by YouTube. Maybe start a new one. Why would I start a new channel? What could that possibly accomplish? And there are many more examples of this, but I think you get the idea. Evrana asks for input, but every time he gets it, it's either already accounted for or is just silly. And I'm not saying that any of the suggestions people give are good or helpful, but it's interesting that no matter what the suggestion is, Evrana cannot see it as an adequate explanation for what is going on. His inability to succeed on the platform defies rational understanding. It does not find its origin in his videos or in his abilities or in his failure to follow some bit of advice. Rather, it's a function of the algorithm, a strange and mysterious mechanism that cannot, or at least has not, been explained.
Like for example, my channel doesn't get shown at all by the YouTube algorithm and has been suffering so much because of it.
So, of course, people got mad at him about all this. After a while, mixed in with the pieces of advice, people started hurling various insults at Evrana. Why do you keep coming to these Reddits asking for advice without changing anything about your channel? Your videos aren't doing well because they're bad and because you lack talent. You will never find success on YouTube. And honestly, on first blush, this whole thing seems incredibly mundane and uninteresting. Here, Evrana is being rude to people, acting like their input is useless and frivolous, nitpicking every part of it like he's in some kind of debate. And in response, these guys fixate on hating him a little bit, insulting him, making it clear that he is not wanted in this space. And this is a somewhat toxic relationship, but none of it feels particularly new, right? Things like this happen all the time on the internet. But as much as we can see these interactions as common and easy to explain, I can't help but feel like there's something more to it. And so I can tell you what that something is, let's talk about small YouTube culture. So, as you might imagine, I started going on these subreddits when I was just beginning to make videos for YouTube, in the months when I had less than 100 subscribers. And for me, these forums were always a very anxious place. By their nature, they're filled with people who don't want to be there, who want subs and aren't getting them, and who don't know what to do. The thing I liked most about the subreddit were the milestone posts, where people would celebrate getting to a certain number of subs. They're banned now because people did them all the time, but I actively sought out those posts to see if people were doing better than I was. And if they weren't getting subs faster, I would feel okay, like I was on track. But if they were, I'd get very upset. I mean, I don't want to graft my personality flaws onto everybody in this community. I don't know if they're all as motivated by external validation and attention as I am, but I have to imagine that a lot of them are, and that can be very painful. What's more, the sorts of videos that new YouTubers like to make does not help the situation. See, YouTube, as a medium, tends to disguise its nature as art. Vloggers, commentary channels, let's plays, all the most important stuff tends to feel like a guy just pressed record and acted like himself. And sure, you can kind of learn to be like that, take an improv class or learn public speaking, but Jacksepticeye is not good at improv. Markiplier isn't. They're just goofy, heartfelt boys with faces you kinda wanna squeeze. Their talent feels unnameable, effortless, and organic. And that is a shitty thing for a new creator. Because if you want to do what these guys do, the name of the game isn't get better at the craft. There is no clear craft to get better at. Instead, you're left talking about what strikes me as window dressing, trying to improve your audio, releasing the optimal number of videos, making eye-catching thumbnails and descriptions with good keywords. You're left running on this treadmill, hoping that someday something will maybe take off. But all the while, the substance of your work remains roughly the same. The joy I got in learning to make better video essays, in improving my writing, in finding out what I really like to talk about, it's just a lot harder to get that when it feels like the bulk of your job, the difference between your channel and a successful one, has nothing to do with your art. And I hope that now you're starting to see how Avrana fits into all of this. Because, on one hand, I think there's something comforting about his presence. If you're upset because you're not getting the attention you want, it can feel nice to look at somebody trying to do what you do and think to yourself, well, I'm better than this guy. It makes sense that he's not getting the results he wants because he's not doing the right things. And unlike him, I am willing to grow and appreciate feedback and learn what I need to learn. It's fun to tell this guy off because you get to feel like you have something he doesn't. And if he's the sort of YouTuber who's not gonna make it, maybe you're the sort of YouTuber who will. But on the other hand, I also think there's something deeply disconcerting about Avrana. Through his unflinching belief that he's doing the right things, that he should be getting more attention on YouTube, that there is no good explanation for why he hasn't, he makes you realize you think all those things too. You put time into your audio and thumbnails, and you choose the right game or trendy thing to talk about. You think you make reasonably good stuff, and you're probably right, and you're not really sure how you could get better at it in a meaningful way. But it's not going anywhere. For whatever reason, things aren't taking off. You're just like this guy. And considering what you want, that's not a pleasant feeling. Avrana is the mosquito, pricking you with the realization that you're not succeeding and you don't know why. Yelling at Avrana is the calamine lotion. I am different. There are things I can do to get better. And nowhere is this tendency more clear than in this response video to Avrana by a channel named Hybrid Steel. Now, just so you know, there are 3 response videos to Avrana by 3 different channels. Just let that sink in, that this guy with 250 subs is so interesting that I am the 4th person to talk about him. Nuts. But anyway, in this video, Hybrid gets really mad at Avrana for what he sees as rude, dishonest behavior.
Now I hate him.
And the most important part of the video occurs toward the middle, where he talks about suggesting the YouTube Creator Academy to Avrana. For those who don't know, the Creator Academy is a series of tutorials that YouTube puts out to help new creators. And this is what Hybrid says about it.
But to have somebody like that turn around to me and to turn around to D and say, "Oh, I've been through the whole of the I've been through the whole of the Creator Academy. I've done everything. It hasn't worked." That YouTube Academy was set up by YouTube. If you can't understand what YouTube is telling you to do, then there's something wrong with you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I find this moment really viscerally disturbing, and it's because this guy has immersed himself into